Hey heathens. I'm not going to start today's episode in my normal quasi-cheerful manner. When I'm recording this, we have a lot of sad news coming out about Kobe Bryant and his daughter and a few other people having died in a helicopter crash. And as such, I'm also kind of filming out of order. For the week, my heart is broken for the loved ones of Kobe and his daughter Gianna, as well as the others who perished in the helicopter crash. And I just didn't have it in me to sit here and pretend that everything's okay when it's not. I'm not going to sit and pretend like I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. I don't really watch sports, but I never have felt that you need to be a fan of somebody or a stan of somebody to grieve when they pass. And I'm not trying to make this about me, I'm just leading into, if you hear me sniffle a bit or if I seem a little off kilter today, this is why. As such, because of this, I'm not filming my Magical Monday to post today. It just felt a bit strange to talk about the magical correspondence of the Lunar New Year when human tragedy has occurred. You know what I mean? So, as such, today's video is the video I initially intended for Tuesday, and it's about summoning strength. And while I initially intended for this to be a video about summoning your internal strength with regards to channeling it for your magical purposes, it just kind of took a twist, and I felt that it would be more poignant to talk about summoning your own internal strength, especially when in difficult times. With that said, I'm going to take a quick drink of water. And I didn't intend to start this with my voice still shaky and being a little teary, but that happened. So give me a second. I'm just trying to gather my composure and my thoughts a minute. I am still gonna go ahead and do a cosmetic look while I talk about this. I'm gonna start off, well, the head was already sprayed with hairspray. I coated it with the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD Illuminating Foundation, and I coated it in the Becca Hydra Mist setting powder like I've been doing. Unfortunately, I had a brain fart, for lack of a better way to put it, and I forgot to put on the NYX eye base, but I'm gonna try today without doing that, and hopefully the powders will work. If not, well, I'm doing the best I can right now. When faced with difficult times, and I'm going off script today. I have no script for this. I was not planning to do this, so I just have some kind of quick notes. So if there's a lot of ums and ahs, I apologize. But when faced with difficult times and tragic events, and this doesn't just go along with what happened today, but this is, I think, an important message because we all have those difficult times, be it family loss, other tragic events. I'm just looking at the plastic sheet. I'm going to use the matte nude pink blush, and this is from the Ulta box. If you guys want me to link what I'm using, please let me know in the comments, and I will try to go back and put those links in all of my videos as well as this one and the ones going forward. I know I haven't done that. I tried to say what everything is, but I know it might be difficult to find them unless I link them, so if you want that, please just let me know, and I will do that. Obviously nothing is sponsored, nothing is PR, everything's bought with my own money, but if you guys want to be able to find it, I understand if you want those links. So, again, just let me know. But, as I was saying, when faced with tragic events, be it family loss, be it, the loss of somebody you may admire, tragic events like 9/11, it can be really hard to gather your equilibrium, I guess you could say. Everybody grieves differently. Everybody has their own way of expressing that grief. Some people internalize it. Others, in their shock, may have a more difficult way of expressing that, and things they may say may come across as, them making things about themselves when they're not intending to. I've been seeing that going along on Twitter today. The accusations of this person is making this about themselves. I don't perceive it that way, but again, that's just me. Having a little trouble with the blush at the moment, so forgive me. This is taking a little bit of work to try to get it to show the pigment. I don't know why I have so much difficulty getting colors to show up on this particular color head for the medium tone skin color. Sorry. It just seems to be a constant struggle. But everyone handles it differently. Personally, when I grieve, I generally internalize it. I don't talk about it. I may give sympathy, I may express sadness, but I've always had this bad habit of holding it in and then grieving by myself later. Other people are more vocal about it. You know, all I'm trying to say is we all handle it differently. And during these times, I'm going to try the, I would like to do the pink highlight, but where I'm having difficulty with colors getting to show up, I'm going to go for the white highlight and see if that doesn't have more of an effect. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It can be hard to handle things like this. And the setting powder wasn't completely set. Dang. Sorry, I just noticed the foundation lifting a bit onto the brush. Not gonna lie, I'm not finding these natural brushes to be beneficial for me, or for what I've been doing. The natural hair brushes. I bought them in the set, so it came with that. So don't hate me for having natural bristle brushes right now. But sometimes what we need to respect is some people just feel like they need to be left alone. Especially after the initial shock and after everything happens. It can be really difficult. And I know it seems a bit counterintuitive to, what am I trying to say? I know our knee-jerk reaction is more to want to reach out and express our condolences. But sometimes that can be more harmful than beneficial. And it may be, I hate to use the word selfish, but sometimes it is. I'm trying to do a bit of contouring, but I don't think it's working. Even if it's not intended, especially for the person who is doing the bulk of the grieving. Yeah, this is not working. Not much is working today. Oh, are these creams? I don't think they were creams. No, they're powder. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not really organized at the moment. Just give me a second. I'm looking for a palette to use. I think I want to try the palette I got in one of my last boxy charms, the Storybook Cosmetics palette. We'll try it, see how it works. If not, I'll go back to Jaded. But the important things to do are to take time in quiet, in solitude, not just to try to learn how to deal with the change, the stark change that has just occurred in your life. Sorry, I'm just covering up the mirror. I didn't realize that this had one. But I've always found that one of the key starting places to being able to summon your inner strength is to take quiet time to yourself. Not just for the purposes of dealing with grief, but to take the time to really, I'm going to try spindle. Allow yourself to heal and to kind of close out the noise of the outside world. Alright, this is not working, so I will go ahead and apply the NYX eye base. It may not be pretty, but I'm gonna try. This is just the white NYX base. And it's not just the outside world can be very distracting, not just in the sense of distracting us from our own grief, but distracting us from the ability to heal, which is the biggest problem when it comes to dealing with grief. It's not so much the distraction from the pain, but it has more to do with burying the pain and not dealing with it. As somebody who's been through a lot of traumatic events, and for years and years and years of not dealing with it, not coping with it, not facing it, and burying it deep down, there comes a point in your life where eventually your soul basically is like, I've had enough of this, and I am going to make all of these things and painful events and traumas come back and well up to the surface to make you face them and make you deal with them. So when it comes to dealing with traumas, you know, I always go through, especially when it comes to when my friends are dealing with things, I always start with, don't be me. Don't bury it. Don't push it down. Let yourself grieve. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to express how you feel. It's okay to not be okay. And I say that quite often. I tend to be I'm a Myers-Briggs INFJ. I tend to take on a counselor slash healer role with people. And not just my friends, but people in general. And as someone who has had to face their shadow side not just once, but a few times, because let's face it, it's always a part of you. I always recommend doing your absolute best to deal with these trials and tribulations as they come. Because, speaking from experience, there is nothing worse than it welling up and you being a complete and total wreck for however long it takes for you to heal from those experiences. So when things happen, taking time to yourself, not just to clear out the noise of all that's going on around you, but to allow yourself to really come face to face with how you're feeling is a really big and important step, not only for healing purposes, but for channeling your inner strength to carry on despite what is going on around you and despite what you have gone through. And it can be really difficult. You will have to do things like purposefully focus and intend on not allowing yourself to distract yourself. So that means no TV, no music, no reading, no dealing with people or dealing with the outside world at all. Because if you don't do that, the just sheer weight of everything can really, really, really weigh you down. And you have to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and face what you're feeling. And no, you don't have to be strong all the time. I tend to be one of those people who carries the weight of the world on my shoulders. And it has been difficult for me personally, as one of those people who is always intent on taking care of everybody else and not taking care of myself, to force myself to face my own things and my own crap and deal with them. But I can tell you in hindsight, I wish I had started that process from a much younger age than letting it build up and well up inside of me, and to the point where I literally could not push it down anymore. And it did come to that point of either I shut everybody out and deal with this, or I don't know what's going to become of me. And I know that doesn't just, I'm using my own experience to convey why these steps are important. And one of the hardest things is when your world gets turned upside down. You literally have to relearn how to live all over again. You have to learn how to set a new routine, set a new schedule, try to deal with things. I'm going to try the shade Grim in the inner crease. And thankfully it came out. And that new routine, I'm not gonna lie, is gonna be hard. And it's usually during this new routine that you really start to find out and learn who is there for you and who is there for themselves. Because in that new routine often come the people that you were always there for them. And many times at the expense of your own self. And suddenly when you're not there anymore, that's when you find the people who are tending to be more selfish, because all of a sudden you aren't there to pick them up when they need it. And they become very codependent on you. And you need to learn and really put, what's the word I'm looking for? You need to set barriers. And when people come to you and say, hey, where are you? Hey, why haven't you answered me? Hey, why aren't you there for me? Or they're blowing up your inbox with their personal problems when you're trying to deal with your own stuff and getting upset at you and, why aren't you responding to me, or why aren't you talking to me? Sometimes you just really have to put your foot down and say, I'm sorry, this is not about you. This is about me. And I have to do what's best for me in this moment, in this time, and in this space. And if people don't understand that, I'm just gonna put this right out there. Especially when it comes to tragic events, especially when it comes to painful events. If they still keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing that you are not responding to them, they aren't your people. They're just not. Because anyone who's going to be the people that you want around you, and I'm using the shade Kiss right now. It's a glittery shimmer shade, it looks like, with gold and pink. Because anyone who makes your healing process about them, especially when you have done nothing but be there for them when they have been dealing with things, that tells you that their ego has made your relationship dynamic all about them, what they want, and what they can get from you. And I know that can be hard to hear, but that is also something that I have had to learn in my many years, because the people who don't respect your boundaries, the people who don't respect when you say, I cannot deal with this right now, I have to focus on me, what you need to understand is they're never really going to respect you in that way. And if they can't respect your voice when things are at their lowest, they're not really going to respect your voice when things are better. I'm just trying to smudge this color a bit so the line is a little less harsh. No lie, that's blending out really pretty. During these times, you don't just have to face that internal struggle, you also have to and set a new routine for yourself. But you'll also have to do things such as and this comes in with the weeding people out who don't necessarily belong in your circle. You will have to find the people who are going to be there for you when things are bad, and the people who deserve to be in your life when things are good. And it's not going to always be easy, and it's not always going to be obvious either. I know when I was going through some pretty rough stuff a few years ago, and I was dealing with facing all the stuff from my past and really throwing my head into focusing on trying to heal from it. You know, I had people who I'd considered best friends, who I looked on as family, and then they got that ego mentality, and I had to basically just shut the door on them. And it wasn't something that was easy, and it wasn't something that I took joy in, but these are people who showed their true nature and showed their true colors. And people tend to do that when things are going pretty crappy. I'm using the So Jaded palette. I'm trying the color Tiger's Eye. Give it a little bit of a bronze sort of color. Okay, that ended up sort of matching the skin tone. I didn't intend for that. But it is what it is. As we all know, or if you are new to my channel, I am not an expert on cosmetics. So I am not somebody you're coming to necessarily learn from. But if you don't mind watching me make my mistakes and maybe learning through my mistakes, then feel free to come hang out with me anytime. Yeah, I basically made that whole top section the same color as the foundation. Fail. But you find out who's meant to be in your circle and who are the people that don't belong there anymore. And it can be family, it can be friends, it can be any number of things. I'm gonna do the color Jasper on the lower lash line. And another color that is turning it the same shade as the foundation. I have to be able to salvage this somehow. Okay. Let's see, is there anything I can do? I might try smoky quartz as a color here on the lash line. That's sort of helping. It's still sort of a beige color, but it's more of a metallic beige, so it's not blending in as much. So one of my number one tips in all of this is be patient with yourself. Grief is not a linear process at all, in any way, make, shape, or form. And anyone who says so is a liar. There are going to be days when you're going to be fine and you think that everything's getting to be finally normal again and you're adjusting to this new routine and new set schedule, and then there's going to be the next day is going to hit you out of nowhere, and all of a sudden all that progress and all of those healing steps that you were starting to get used to is going to go out the window. I'm going to try a little bit of opal. And I have learned these glitter shades do not like the brushes, so I'm going to try, there we go, on the finger, just layering it over the color Kiss. Give it a little bit of a different dimension. That's not too bad. Primary things with dealing with tragic events, you also really need to self-care. You have to take time to don't be afraid to try new things. And in the purposes of, I guess, full disclosure, I didn't used to be fascinated by the beauty world. I'm rather new to joining this. I only really started following things about July or August because I'd gone through a pretty painful time in events, and I was looking for something, anything new to venture into. And I weirdly, despite never having been really all that interested in cosmetics or beauty or anything of that nature, found myself really diving full on into it. I first got drawn into everything following the drama community, and it just kind of spiraled from there. And now I'm fascinated by it, and I'm watching videos every day, and I'm trying to learn new techniques. But just as an example, that's the kind of things that, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to explore and find different places and areas of interest that you may not have been previously fascinated by, whether it be physical activities, whether it be mental, whether it be educational, or crafts. Allow yourself that ability to explore and find something to hold on to and to help you heal and move forward from whatever caused you pain. Make sure that you have set up a group of people who, really support you in furthering yourself and furthering your goals. And all of these things help you figure out and re-channel into your internal strength and your internal power and healing from things that caused you pain. I'm just trying to figure out a color to put on. I don't want to do a beige color because it will just blend into things. You know what? I'm going to try this purpley color. Nope, that's not it. Low. I'm really liking these Gerard Cosmetics lipsticks. Ooh, I have 3 in here. I thought I only had 2. Ooh. Here we go. I knew I had 3 on the table, but I didn't realize I had 3 still in the container. I might try that one. Just trying to see. Yeah, I don't think that color will. It could be interesting, but I don't think it really works with the look, and I think that's too pale. I have watched a number of, I think it's Naima Tang, her videos, and every time I think of pairing a lighter shade lipstick with a deeper, richer skin tone, all I can hear is her in my head going, powdered donut. So I'm going to try the shade Grape Soda as a lip color today. But healing is always an ever-present and everlasting process. But doing so, taking these steps to really narrow down your inner circle, really taking time to work on yourself and self-care, find things that you may not have ever previously seen yourself being interested in, and allowing yourself to really full-on dive into that and explore it really allows you and helps you heal in the long run. And each of these things help you in finding and gaining and channeling your inner strength and your inner power. And once you do that, you can really start pouring and focusing that internal power into magical workings as well. Like, I used to do ritual work and spell work all the time, but in the last year I haven't really done much of anything, mainly because I haven't had the heart to do it. I've been dealing with depression, I've been dealing with a lot of my own internal struggles and dealing with working on trying to heal some anxieties and stressors from my past that, I haven't had the energy to do ritual work. And with these my cat just pushed her way into the room, so if you hear a meow, that's who it is. Sorry, I thought I'd latched the door, but if you don't feel like you have the energy and you don't feel like you have the strength to channel your inner power into magical work, that's okay. You can take a break. There is nothing requiring you to do rituals and spells and things of that nature, and there's certainly no requirement to keep up with the Sabbats, to keep up with the routine of doing magical work. And that color is so pretty. I did not expect it to come out that shade. That really came out really nice. I'm excited about that. Honestly, I cannot rave about the Gerard Cosmetic lipsticks enough. They have been a surprisingly beautiful lipstick. That it didn't come out bad, I have to say. Even though the shade up there and along the lash lines wasn't to my liking. Artemis, you can be nice. I have to say, it all came together. Damn, Raw Beauty Christie isn't lying. She said just keep going and see what works. So, that's what I did. Anyway, I hope some of the information that I've imparted may be beneficial, whether it be, allowing yourself to reconnect to your own inner power through meditation, prayer, allowing yourself to reconnect to that universal source, and just taking that time. But even though this video wasn't what I planned, and even though it has gone much, much longer than I intended it to, I hope you may have found some use from the information I gave, and I hope you like the look. I did. Even though I just kind of went with the flow. And with all of that said, until next time, brightest blessings, blessed be, and I'm sending love and healing and hugs to you and all your loved ones. Take care.